Oh, what's up, guys? I was really in two minds about making this video, but I've seen what's happening that a lot of people are thinking about or have moved abroad, and I'm talking specifically like from the UK to abroad. So a lot of people are leaving. From what I've seen, there's a lot of like YouTube videos talking about people leaving the country, or people thinking about leaving the country in the UK. See, I've been in the UK for a while, for quite a long time. I don't really have most of my family here, but I've had a job here. I've gone to university. I've had a job here, and I've had a job for a long time. And here's the thing, and I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about, oh, the state of the UK and what's happening, and with, there's obviously things about the tariffs and stuff, and what was happening with Donald Trump and all that kind of stuff. We're seeing lately now that Keir Starmer has made a deal with Trump, and I think there's a 0% tariff now on sort of like steel, so imports coming from the UK to the US. I can't remember what the other one, but you guys can drop it in the comments. I'm sure you know. I just can't remember it at the moment. But anyway, here's the thing: a lot of people are talking about leaving the UK, and here's some of the reasons. Some of the reasons are because the cost of living is going really high. Obviously, the rate of salaries and earnings in this country hasn't kept up, which, to be honest, is very similar to a lot of what's going on just generally around the world, even the US, Europe. Everybody's affected. But here's the thing: a lot of people are considering places like this has got nothing to do with my personal feelings. To be honest, I just thought I'd make a video about this because it's something that I was thinking about. I was thinking and just seeing. I've seen videos from people like the Humble Penny, and I'm giving them a shout out. They've interviewed two different sets of people who have made the move to Dubai. Now, bearing in mind, these are people that have their own businesses, so that's always something to take into perspective. I mean, there's people that have jobs, and it's not just Dubai, by the way. It's Bahamas. There's doctors that have moved to Bahamas, and yeah, they're mostly some of the videos I've seen. A lot of them are going to tax-free places and stuff, and a lot of them have been saying that the reasons that they've moved is that look, the UK's had issues now with crime. Crime is considerably higher than it was before. You know, you can't trust your to send your kids down the store, down to the grocery or the off license or even supermarket to get stuff because you're just afraid of what might happen. You know, kids might get picked up, or it's just not safe out there. Crime is on a high, and the police are not really. They said police are not really doing their job, and it's like one lady I was watching a video yesterday. She was talking about how for her it was like she has her own business. She's got a YouTube channel and she does other things, and she was like, well, I don't mind paying taxes, but I want to see my taxes go towards something. I want to see it working, and that's a very popular theme that I've seen with quite a lot of these videos. People are saying, look, they're not really upset about, well, they're kind of upset about how much taxes are going up, which is something that's obviously been a major factor for them. But then one underlying thing they've said is that they don't mind paying taxes. What they want to see is their taxes going towards something meaningful. Okay, so if you're paying tax and your rubbish is not collected, or you got potholes all over the place, or this particular lady was talking about her local park, they had like swings and stuff like that, and she was on the phone with like the councillor and stuff because she knows the councillor of that particular borough. And she was like, hey, look, what's going on? Children, this is supposed to be a park where children play, but the swing hasn't been working, or it's not just swing, the other, the stuff the kids play on is that it hasn't been fixed. What's going on? Like, where's the money going? I think that's been the main thing, is like, where's the money going? I think that's the thing that's bugging a lot of people with regards to taxes in the UK. They're like, well, hang on a second, where's the money actually going? So she was just like, okay, like she lives in a certain place in Dubai called Sharjah, which is just like 20 minutes outside of Dubai. And she was just like, well, things here work. We don't really pay like tax. Obviously, they don't pay tax, but there's a municipality tax, say, for example. And they're like, if something happens, it gets sorted the same day. And I think she was saying that they only pay like 180, the equivalent of 180 pounds for, that's basically their council tax, if you want to think of it that way. 180 pounds per month. I mean, we pay, depending on what borough you're in, you pay at least double that. And let's be honest, you'd be lucky if anything's fixed within a relatively short or quick space of time. But here's a slightly digress, but it's still relevant. Here's the thing: what's happening in the UK now is what's happening a lot around in Europe and places like the US and stuff. And we have to ask ourselves the question: is like, is there a shift? Is there a shift, or is it just full circle? A lot of us people, diasporans, people move from whatever country, the Caribbean, Africa, wherever you come from, you come to the Western world chasing a dream. Is that dream still viable? Do you feel like that dream is still happening for you? Or is there an innate desire for you in yourself now where it's just like a lot of people are just like, places like the UK and even in the US, a lot of people in the US, I was watching something, a lady left US a while ago and she's teaching in Oman. So places like the Middle East where people haven't before thought about where there'd be a place to go because of safety and stuff like that. Places like the Middle East are transforming now. Could they become a new West in that some of the things that they would have really prohibited before, like drinking, smoking, which to be honest, to a certain extent, a lot of that is you still can't do, but in certain countries it's controlled. Um, and it just made me think like, are we seeing a shift? And we know that the West does not normally like to talk about places like the Middle East in a positive light, just because of its, people will say they're human rights violation over the years. I've heard and I've read a lot of stuff where some of these countries they're now changing. So just to go back to that first point, so places like the Middle East they're becoming a bit more tolerative, if I can say that, or tolerant, basically. And whilst they still have their moral and religious principles, which they won't change, they understand that there is a need to welcome and mix and I guess provide a new environment where people feel like they can come to that country, or they can come to that region, they can bring their expertise and they can help build the economy, the social structure. And to me, it seems like it's becoming more inclusive. And I think also what they're doing is they're saying, hang on a second, why, if we want people to come here and we want this place to be the next big thing or the next big continent or region or area, whatever it is we have to look at what the West has been doing and what's not working and attract those people here. And can I just say, I think it's working. And whilst I haven't made a decision, or my family hasn't made a decision about whether we stay or we go, I mean, I'm just like the normal person. I was going to say I like paying my taxes, but well, I don't mind paying my taxes. But you want to see your taxes perform well and do that which it is intended for. And I'm not sure we're getting that. So would I move to the Middle East? Well, I don't know. I mean, hey, it's there's a lot of things that you look on paper and you think, hang on a second. I mean, this could be, you know, it could be enticing, but obviously, with everything, everybody has to look at it in holistically in a full view, and stuff. And I think when you look at sort of like what's happening in places like the UK and the US, it's just the high crime rate, salaries not keeping up. I think the US obviously is a little bit different to UK because the salaries in the US are quite high. But yeah, a lot of people are moving to places like the Middle East, and I just wonder what you guys think. Some of you guys that watch this channel, and by the way, if you're watching this channel, it will really, really help me loads if you can, share, subscribe, comment as well, and click the notification bell, because then you know every time I put out a video that that yeah, I have put something out. So yeah, so it's just something that had me thinking. It was just like what makes one move to those countries? Well, some of the reasons I've already alluded to or covered in this video. So yeah, I just thought I'd make a really personal video about that, because you know um, I'm certainly looking at certain things in this country, and it just makes you think. Is is it worth it staying? Should one go? So there's places like uh, not just the UAE. I mean, UAE, obviously, you've got Dubai, you've got Abu Dhabi, you've got places like Sharjah, you've got Doha, Qatar, even Saudi